In the quiet, early hours before sunrise on October 4, 2025, the story of Oninda Romelus comes into focus not as a single moment of violence, but as a slow, disorienting unraveling that ended in a gas station parking lot in Angleton, Texas. Around 4:45 a.m., deputies in Brazoria County were dispatched to that location after a woman called asking for help. The caller was Oninda Romelus, a 31-year-old mother. What responding deputies found inside her vehicle was immediately catastrophic. 4 children were inside, all suffering from gunshot wounds.
Please help us make 1,000 subscribers by the year end. Make sure to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and leave comments down below so I can find out what content you'd like to see, and I will reply to everyone. Don't forget to hit the bell to be notified as soon as the next video drops.
2 of them, a 13-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl, were pronounced dead at the scene. The other 2, an 8-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl, were still alive. They were rushed by air to a Houston area hospital and, in the hours that followed, were reported to be in stable condition. Authorities later said that the speed of the response likely saved at least 1 life. Romelus was arrested there, at the gas station, and charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. A judge set her bond at $14 million. From the outset, the case raised unsettling questions, not only because of the violence itself, but because of the statements Romelus allegedly made once she was in custody. According to court documents summarized by local media, her interview with investigators was marked by disturbing and disorganized remarks. She reportedly told detectives, "Instead of them doing it to me, I'm gonna do it to them." When asked to explain what she meant, she allegedly said, "Kill them all." She also described her children as being dead to her, said they were with the devil, and made statements suggesting a belief that she could not be taken into custody without me taking you. To investigators, these comments did not point toward a clear, rational motive, but rather toward the possibility of a severe mental health crisis or a delusional state unfolding in real time. At the time of the shooting, Romelus was living in Porter, a community in Montgomery County, Texas, north of Houston. Angleton, where deputies found her, is more than an hour's drive from that home. Authorities have not publicly explained why she and the children were there that morning, or exactly when and where inside the vehicle the shooting occurred. Those details remain unresolved as the legal process unfolds. What is known is that the children were shot inside the car, and that the sequence of events leading up to the emergency call is still under investigation. As investigators began to examine Romelus's background, fragments of her earlier life emerged that suggested a complicated personal history. More than a decade earlier, as a teenager, she appeared on the television show Lauren Lake's Paternity Court in an Atlanta-based episode titled Romelus vs. Seymour, Covington. In that appearance, she was seeking to establish paternity for her infant son, placing her in the Atlanta area during her teen years. Years later, in April of 2022, records from Fayette County, Georgia show that she was arrested and charged with misdemeanor DUI of drugs, failure to maintain lane, and possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana. According to reporting, she later pleaded guilty to the DUI charge, while the remaining counts were dropped. That arrest places her back in Georgia in the years before she ultimately settled in Texas. By 2025, law enforcement identified Romelus as a resident of Montgomery County. Child Protective Services has confirmed that there had been at least 1 prior CPS contact involving her family, though details of that interaction are sealed pending a public child fatality report. After the shooting, CPS moved quickly to intervene on behalf of the surviving children, while the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office assisted Brazoria County authorities with the broader investigation. Officials have been careful not to speculate publicly about family dynamics, abuse, or neglect. But those questions are now central to understanding how this tragedy unfolded. Additional layers of complexity emerged during a search of Romelus's residence. Investigators reported finding multiple identification documents bearing different names, several social security cards, credit cards, shipping labels, and printing equipment. While no additional charges have yet been filed in connection with those items, their presence has raised questions about possible identity fraud or other financial or legal stressors in her life. For investigators, these findings are part of a larger effort to reconstruct her movements, pressures, and mental state in the days and months leading up to October 4th. Taken together, the publicly known facts form a fragmented timeline. A young woman navigating early motherhood in the Atlanta area, appearing on a nationally syndicated court show as a teenager, a later arrest in Georgia in 2022, a move or return to Texas, where she was living with her children in Porter. Then, before dawn on an October morning in 2025, a drive south to Angleton, a call for help, and a vehicle containing 4 wounded children, 2 of whom would not survive. What remains unknown is what happened in the hours or minutes before that call, whether the violence was planned or impulsive, and what role mental illness, fear, or delusion may have played. When I look at the case of Oninda Romelus, what unsettles me most isn't just the violence itself, but the contradictions that sit at the center of it. This is a woman who, earlier in her life, stood in a courtroom fighting over custody, publicly asserting her right to be a mother, insisting on her bond to her child. And yet years later, she is accused of doing the unthinkable, killing 2 of her own children and gravely wounding 2 others, while claiming she did so because they were going to kill her if she didn't act first. That contradiction forces an uncomfortable question. Was she responding to an actual threat, or to one that existed only in her mind? What makes this even harder to reconcile is what she did next. She didn't run. She didn't abandon the vehicle or attempt to disappear. Instead, she drove to a gas station, an open, public space, and called for help herself. Deputies were summoned by her own request. That decision alone complicates any simple narrative of guilt or intent. People who commit calculated crimes usually try to avoid detection. Romelus, according to authorities, did the opposite. She put herself directly in the path of law enforcement. Then, there are the statements attributed to her after the fact. References to the devil, claims that her children were dead to her and with the devil. Language like that often signals detachment from reality, the kind seen in severe mental health crises. But even here, the picture is not clean. Was this a genuine psychotic break? An episode where fear, paranoia, and delusion overtook her ability to perceive reality? Or was it an attempt to rationalize what she had already done, framing it in apocalyptic or spiritual terms after the fact? Her history complicates that question further. Authorities have confirmed prior contact with Child Protective Services. That doesn't automatically mean wrongdoing, but it does indicate that concerns had surfaced before. Were those concerns related to mental health, parenting stress, environmental instability? And if warning signs were present, were they missed, minimized, or simply not severe enough at the time to justify intervention?
Please help us make 1,000 subscribers by the year end. Make sure to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and leave comments down below so I can find out what content you'd like to see, and I will reply to everyone. Don't forget to hit the bell to be notified as soon as the next video drops.
The uncomfortable truth is that even trained professionals cannot always predict when a family situation will escalate into violence. Currently, the case is still in its pre-trial stage, and there's been no trial or sentencing yet, probably because, at this point, investigators are still gathering evidence, prosecutors are building their case, and the defense will likely raise issues related to her mental state at the time of the alleged offenses. Given the nature of the reported statements and circumstances, evaluations of competency and mental health are very likely to play a significant role before the case can even proceed to trial. Cases of alleged filicide inevitably reverberate beyond the courtroom. They force difficult questions about mental health systems, child welfare oversight, and the warning signs that may go unnoticed until it is too late. In this case, the mother's reported references to the devil, her expressed fear that others would do it to me, and her prior contact with CPS suggest a crisis that may have been building for some time. As of now, many of the most critical answers about motive, accountability, and the long-term future of the surviving children remain unresolved, waiting to be addressed as the investigation and legal proceedings continue. Thanks for watching to the end. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.